watch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Boy walks in and from puck goes down. He scores! Anthony Cirelli on the rebound. And the Lightning have the lead back.
What a back and forth game it was last night at Amalie Arena as your Tampa Bay Lightning win a 3-2 decision over a young and precocious New Jersey Devils team. A little slow start for the Lightning, but they get it rolling and get a big win. Now they welcome in what could be a Stanley Cup final preview with the Vegas Golden Knights, who I believe are leading the Pacific Division. Welcome into the JP Peterson Show on this Football Friday.
That sounds so sad, the way you said that.
You know, I was just thinking about this. Nick Geddes from Outkick.com joining us here. You know, this is the first week of the NFL season that the Bucs have been out in 2 years. Since the start of the Brady era, this is the first week that we are not playing and somebody else is. That's why it feels so weird today. If you wondered why you woke up and it just doesn't feel like a regular Football Friday, that's why. We're not playing anymore.
We're not playing meaningful games in January. We're not doing it.
Thanks, Stu. We're not playing this. Oh, my God. Like, how does this world work? Like the rest of your 60 years of Buck fandom, right? I know it's less than that. But yeah, it's back to the old days where we watching everybody else play. But you know, there's only 4 left, so it wasn't too bad.
It doesn't hit the same.
It just doesn't.
It just doesn't without the Bucs in there.
It's just weird, and so close. I mean, you know, it's like we've kind of accepted it because you know the Rams were just a better team. But dadgum, like we win the coin flip in overtime, 90% chance you win the game.
Yeah, we're playing San Fran and your boy Jimmy G.
Right, we're welcoming San Francisco to the house.
Yeah, we're getting ready. We're getting battle flags ready. We're painting the end zones again.
Everything.
All of it was set up, man.
That dadgum Cooper Cup, Matthew Stafford,
Sean McVay.
Todd Bowles. let's point the finger where it really is. No, not at all. I mean, it was a great season. I don't know if we've really asked this question before we get into the Lightning. Was it a successful season? That's the old. I think if you have to kvetch about it, it probably wasn't. You know,
with the cast that we had out there in that game offensively,
right.
And everything that went on, and to still, honestly, it took a game-winning field goal and a miraculous play at the end, for that team at full strength to beat us.
Right. Think about that.
No matter what happened, the 15 minutes before, that was crazy. It happened.
It's like, well, we're lucky to get back in the game. I mean, we forced those turnovers.
Make your own breaks.
Yeah,
man.
Those are forced turnovers. It wasn't like Cam Akers just dropped the ball.
I think it's a success. For that. It's a successful season.
It feels like a success.
Listen, I've like I said a lot of times, you want to see unsuccessful seasons? I got plenty to show you.
Right.
And at this point, if you're a Bucs fan, they've made the playoffs, I think, maybe 10 times in their franchise history. They're all successful.
I mean, but you have Brady and you bring back 22 starters. I think at the beginning of the season, we said anything short of a Super Bowl would be a disappointment. But as you know, every season is an evolution. And, you know, injuries hit and you kind of redefine, you know, did they get the most out of this season? And I it's a close call, but I just feel like, maybe because I'm more of a glass half full guy, but I think we got as much out of this team as we could, given the injuries and then the whole AB situation. You know, I don't think we've really, because we don't want to talk about that ass clown. But the bottom line is, if he doesn't go cuckoo, they tried to send me to the crazy house. God, Antonio Brown, what are you doing? I never saw the whole HBO interview, by the way.
I think it drops today, so it should be out there right now, maybe.
Yeah, or maybe we'll play a little
sure
bit. Do you guys want us to play it? Do you care? Do you want to hear from Antonio Brown? Because he's going to file a civil suit against the Bucs. This is going to be ongoing. He's going to try to file a grievance and try to get his money back, and he's still floating that false narrative out there. So if you guys really want to hear it, let's go and we go over it. I mean, I'm kind of interested. To me, it's kind of laughable, but then again, I don't think there's any question. If we had Antonio Brown and he was in his right mind and he wasn't trying to destroy the team, I think we beat.
It might be a different story.
Absolutely.
And I tell you this: what makes me more sick about the season was the team was truly only healthy for the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah.
And they scored 79 points
offensively.
on offense.
Yeah.
79 points. And it was easy.
Again, remember, like, the Dallas defense turned out to be like one of the best defenses in the league.
Yeah.
You know? I just think when you look at the season in total and you go down to, the last second of and you're in the final 8, I think it's a good season. It's a good season, not a great season, not a super season, but I think it was a success.
And it makes it all that more that I want to see it come back for one more year.
Yeah.
Just one more year.
Yeah.
Please.
That's my gut feeling. It just feels that way. All right, some other Buck news while we're on it before we get kind of dive into the Bolts last night. We'll listen to some of the goals and hear from Jon Cooper. The Saints has asked permission to speak with Byron Leftwich. Interesting. Now, we had Mike Neighbors on yesterday, and he kind of brought up the scenario of the way the Saints kind of don't miss a beat is they elevate Dennis Allen, their fine defensive coordinator, and the defense really has been their strong suit the past few years. Mm-hmm. As much as we want to talk about Drew Brees and the brilliance of Sean Payton offensively, it's been their defense that has really carried that team for the most part. And that defense kind of remains intact. And if you keep Dennis Allen, then you don't lose any of that continuity. And, from hearing Mike talk about it, he's very popular within the clubhouse. I mean, you're going to go outside and get a Byron Leftwich, Dennis Allen's going to leave. So then what happens to your defense? So if I'm the Saints, I think their move is elevate Dennis Allen and get, bring a young dynamic offensive coordinator to maybe a Joe Brady. Whatever happened to him when he got fired in Carolina?
I think he's still out. There was rumors of him going to Miami to be their OC, but as far as I know, I think he's still out there.
Well, he won a national championship at LSU.
Yeah.
So go back to Louisiana.
Matt Rule didn't care for him too much, obviously.
Yeah, clearly.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Dennis Allen, too. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, he was the head coach at Oakland.
Yeah, you're right.
For like a 2-year stint. Yeah. And I think he got a bad shake there because that was when Oakland was just an awful organization.
Yeah.
Bad roster, had no shot.
Yeah.
And the way he's rebuilt that defense, the continuity he has there, and that's the one side of the ball that Mike told us that they're going to have all their pieces back next year. It just makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does. And I'm a little interested as to why Jacksonville hasn't pulled the trigger on Leftwich. They've interviewed him twice, and then they were bringing in Nathaniel Hackett, which was kind of weird. A lot of this is leverage plays by agents too, getting different. Leftwich's agent is probably like, oh well, let's get some other interest out there, and then we'll see if Shad Khan can get off that big old stack of cash of his.
Well, I think it has to do with the GM, Trent Baalke. I mean that was the report yesterday. Is that Left wants his GM, Jackson wants to keep with Trent Baalke. I tend to think at that point, the way that whole situation is, you just need to tear it all the way down again in Jacksonville.
I agree.
And if you're going to get Byron Leftwich in there, you have to think about the best interest of Trevor Lawrence, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's all about Trevor Lawrence.
And I think that's exactly why they want Byron Leftwich in there. But hey, if you're letting Byron Leftwich go to the Saints office today to interview, if you're Byron Leftwich, how do you not take that job? I mean, I understand the cap issues and the quarterback issues, but that's a stable job right now, I think.
Is it a little bit is there any personal feeling coming into this? Like Bruce Arians says, he has been my mentor. I really don't want to go up against him, even if it's going to be 1 year, twice in a season. I really don't want to do that. Not for a competitive sake, but just for I really can't come into it at all.
No, I don't think so.
They can't come into it.
I don't think so.
You have to take the best situation.
He's got to do what he's got. I mean, Bruce Arians has done that his entire career.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would encourage it.
Hell, if I'm Byron Leftwich, New Orleans or Jacksonville.
It depends, Trevor Lawrence. How much do you like Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, you got to have a quarterback.
That's really what it comes down to if you're going to Jacksonville.
That is true because, really, when you look at the way this league is right now, if you don't have a dynamic quarterback, you got no shot. You got no shot. The way this league is set up now with the rules, you can't touch the quarterback, you can't touch the receivers. It's such a passing league, and accuracy and dynamic quarterbacking, especially of guys that can move, it's everything in this league. And Trevor Lawrence has it all.
My only concern here, and I don't know if people have talked about this, but Byron Leftwich, since he calls plays here in Tampa Bay, we kind of have a know of what he kind of likes to do, right? And it's all about, the skill players doing their job to get open. It's not a lot of scheming you open.
True.
Trevor Lawrence was wildly inaccurate in year one. I mean, wildly inaccurate.
I didn't watch a lot of his games.
He's very
TBH.
wildly inaccurate for the ones I saw. Byron Leftwich, if he goes there, and it reminds me of a Jameis situation to an extent. Not that far, but just to an extent. With the guys they have out wide, they don't have really, really many guys out there. I don't know if Trevor Lawrence, how long it's going to take for him to get, into that really. Because Leftwich, because of the offense the way it is.
It's just hard to make any
concern there.
It's hard to make any evaluations of Trevor Lawrence at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, that was such a disaster. Hiring Urban Meyer of all people, and then all the crap that was going on within there. I just have a hard time. It's kind of like a COVID throwaway year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there's just too much turmoil there. There's just too much bad stuff going on. So I don't know really what to make of Trevor Lawrence. It feels like he's not even been introduced to real NFL coaching. Yeah. And where they break you down and they rebuild your mechanics and they work on those things, make you a more accurate passer.
And even like I told you, my biggest concern was how's he going to learn how to lose with a coach who never has known how to lose.
Right.
And that
didn't seem to work out too well.
Didn't work out too well. There's just so many layers there in Jacksonville. But if you're Leftwich and you're confident that you can get the quarterback you want, maybe you want to bring back Jameis on a nice deal. Does Byron Leftwich still have a good relationship with Jameis? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to run it. Maybe he wants to run with him. I think that's a better situation at the moment.
The Saints with Jameis.
The Saints with Jameis and that defense, getting Michael Thomas back, the O-line for the most part's intact. I just feel like if you want to win now.
Short term, no question. But, it could also go really south in New Orleans too. You could lose. I still think that defense is going to be intact for the most part, but you're going to lose Armstead, your left tackle. We talked to Mike Neighbors about this yesterday. He kind of made the case that New Orleans isn't going anywhere, and he kind of got me on that one. I think when you look at the core of that team, that defense is still good. It's and you've got Kamara, Michael Thomas is coming back. You've got some weapons there, and the defense is good. So short term, no doubt about it. But again, if you're looking for the big prize, like it's almost like ceiling in Jacksonville is higher.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, if Trevor Lawrence is what we think he is, I mean, he just didn't become this. He wasn't the greatest prospect in the history of the NFL, or at least in the last 10, 15 years.
It's not him.
And then suddenly just not be able to quarterback.
No, it's not him that I'm worried about. It's just I have 25, 30 years of that organization to go off of. And the way they've been, and under Shad Khan, under his ownership, I don't trust that Trevor Lawrence is going to get the best there.
As opposed to a perennial playoff team in the Saints.
Yeah, that has proven they've turned it around the last 15 years. They're well run.
Yeah.
That's just my thing for Byron Leftwich. If you're a Bucs fan, clearly you probably want him to go to Jacksonville.
It's a tough call, though. But because the quarterback is everything, and you don't have one in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You don't have one. You can say, we'll bring Jameis back and we can work with him, and he's got upside. I still think he does. But
the thing, though, is Jameis with Byron Leftwich, how safe is he going to be?
Right.
Is he going to go back to what he did his first year with Byron Leftwich?
Right. Which is not good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's right. That's the Arians offense, and Jameis and the Arians offense do not mix.
No, they don't.
No, it's too combustible. It's nitroglycerin. Ba-boom. So we'll see how this all shakes out. But Mike Jurecki is reporting, he's an Arizona Cardinals guy. So he's reporting that Adrian Wilson from the Cardinals is going to be the new general manager, and Leftwich will be the coach in Jacksonville. So, and then we'll see what the corresponding moves are there. So far today, we don't have any head coaching hirings, but I think I have a sense we've learned something about Leftwich today. And then, the question is who becomes the offensive coordinator? Arians said that he's going to do the play calling, but who gets elevated to the OC role? Is it Clyde Christensen?
You know who I heard a little bit? Thad Lewis, who you may not even know is on the staff. He's the wide receivers coach. You remember Thad Lewis? Played quarterback, and I think he played under Bruce, so there's already a relationship there. And he's the wide receivers coach. He's really young, kind of like Byron Leftwich a little bit. I heard the guys at Pewter Report were kind of throwing his name around there.
Yeah.
If they keep it in-house. So usually spot on with these things. So I mean, he probably is going to be in consideration at least. I don't know who else on the staff, if you keep it in-house, who you'd give it to.
Yeah. I mean, Christensen's been around forever. He's a quarterback coach. You know, obviously he's been with the Colts with Peyton Manning. Been with Bruce a lot. I mean, he's been an OC before, so I think that would. And again, if Bruce is calling plays and he's pretty much the de facto OC anyway, I'm not sure that. And this is the thing about Leftwich. I mean, mentioned it, and we've said it a lot this year. Where's the creativity in this offense? Is this offense more about Tom Brady, guys getting into certain situations and him? It's more about Brady than it is Leftwich.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Of course it is. Close. Of course it is. Close. And I'm not saying that he's not a good offensive coordinator, because a good offensive coordinator, if you got Brady, you don't need all the creativity and the bells and whistles. You know, but there were times in this, I would say the Rams game was one of them. You know, you don't go no huddle. You don't, and I don't know whose decision this was. You don't move Kappa out to right tackle and put Stinney in at right guard. You don't have a lot of creativity in your run game. There's just not they called a few screens, but it's just, I'm not going to say that was it seems like we played right into their hands. We're going to drop back 50 times and throw the ball. And I know we were behind. I get it. You know, drop back 50 times and throw the ball, not a whole lot of play action, and their pass rush is ferocious. I mean, at some point, yeah, we were kind of forced into that, but you didn't start the game that way. And it seemed, it's not like the Eagles game plan. I was like, man, that was awesome. You know, come out, no huddle, keep them on the field, tire them out, keep them vanilla. That's a great call.
Best way I could put it about Byron Leftwich, he's replaceable. He is 100% replaceable. I don't think Bucs fans will like start crying because Byron Leftwich leaves or anything like that.
Right.
Not trying to disrespect him. He won us a Super Bowl as an OC. All the credit to you.
Yeah.
He probably will do good things somewhere else. I'm just saying it's way more about the players that were here than Byron Leftwich.
I agree.
And you could see it in a lot of the frustration that the offense had last year and even times this year. I mean, little things, 2nd and 10, and you're running up the gut just for running's sake, you know?
Yeah.
There's just a lot of things when the numbers are telling you otherwise that they were steadfast in doing.
The numbers told you that he's the number one offense 2 years
At the end of the day, that's exactly what it looked like.
So, you know, and you won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But again, you know, a lot of that was Tom Brady and Mike Evans. And so it's hard. And that's with every team. It's that way. I mean, is Andy Reid a great offensive play caller because he's got Mahomes, Kelsey, and Tyreek Hill and all those weapons? Well, yeah, because he has a history of it.
Yeah.
It's a long history of having. Yeah.
He's done it with Alex Smith. He revitalized Michael Vick.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah. So, but I don't know if Leftwich has that track record, to be quite honest.
I don't either. No.
So, I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to be a great coach, but I'm not going to jump on my soapbox here and say, you got to hire Byron Leftwich. Because I've been talking to Rick Ballou, who comes on our show from time to time. He's the Jaguars, sideline reporting, and he asked me yesterday, is there a drumbeat in Tampa to keep Byron Leftwich? And I'm like, no,
not really.
I
mean, at the moment, there's not a drumbeat to keep him or Bowles.
Right. I mean,
that one's ridiculous. But
I think it's more, because we understand that Bruce Arians has said this publicly. He's setting these guys up to get jobs. He wants them to get head coaching jobs. So in a sense like that, it's not like, we're going to lose this guy. I mean, we lose Todd Bowles. I think it's more impactful than losing Byron Leftwich.
100%. 100%.
Right?
I don't think it's even close.
Right, because Arians is an offensive guy. Arians pretty much mentored Leftwich, so he's, we still have that knowledge. We still have that play calling. It's still Arians' offense. You still have the offensive staff intact. So whereas Bowles leave, that's his defense. That's his guy.
Yeah.
That's his. And he's a great play caller. Last game notwithstanding, guys make mistakes. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But his track record speaks for itself. And what the mixing and matching that he's had to do this year, and to win as many games as we did, I understand the defense was middle of the pack, but you kind of look at all the different issues that we had this year.
I mean, that's why I kind of told you yesterday is why I think Brian Daboll, if you're deciding between Brian Daboll and Byron Leftwich, I just don't think it's close. I just
Especially
don't.
if I'm developing a quarterback.
If you're developing a quarterback
just-
and you're getting the best out of what you have, I think Brian Daboll's a better choice. And I'm shocked he's not getting more interest out there.
Yeah. And then probably people look at his situation in Buffalo and go, well, look what you're working with. That guy's a freaking but he was so raw. I mean, he made him into a really, really good quarterback.
Do you remember his 2019 game in the playoffs against Houston?
I remember saying to myself, he'll never recover from that.
Yeah.
He'll never recover from that. I'm like, he just completely crapped the bed.
Yeah.
I mean, that was bad. And I was like, wow, this kid's, he's so talented, but man, he'll never be a professional quarterback. Yeah. Whoops.
I mean, and it goes further than him. Look how Stephon Diggs, he was a really good player in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's an elite player in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis, 4th round pick, 200 yards in a playoff game. Dawson Knox.
4 touchdowns.
Evan Singletary. All these guys that were kind of floundering.
Yeah.
And they've turned around. So I think that's a better option. But Byron Leftwich, it's clear as day. He's like the flavor of the day or the year this year. And he's probably going to get it somewhere.
And Eric Bieniemy is still looking for a job.
Yeah, can't explain that one.
That one is
still can't explain it.
I mean, I've heard people say that he doesn't interview really, really well. And that's a big deal.
You know who interviewed well?
Who?
Joe Judge.
True. Win the press conference, come in with all your witty sayings and all your scoreboard helps.
Yeah.
Scoreboard helps.
Yeah.
And Bieniemy's got scoreboard.
Yeah, he's got scoreboard.
But then does he? Because he's, Andy Reid's running the show. I mean, he's running the offensive show. What is Bieniemy?
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of too, besides his interviewing.
He's not calling plays.
Is that
right? I mean,
I don't know if people are looking at does Matt Nagy have anything to do with it? Because Matt Nagy was the OC with Andy Reid before.
That's right. That's right.
People looking at Nagy like, oh, well, what did he provide?
What did he? He certainly didn't
Deer
do
in the
anything.
headlights when he was in Chicago.
Yeah.
That might be having something to do with it too.
He didn't exactly develop Mitch Trubisky.
But the whole point of it is we're seeing less guys who are less than what Eric Bieniemy has accomplished as in a team standpoint that are getting head coaching jobs. And this guy, I don't think he's even had an interview really this year yet. That one is just perplexing to me.
Interesting. So, what's interesting more than anything is there's no really big names out there this year in terms of coaching. It's like
by the Harbaugh hype.
Yeah. You think he's coming back?
No, he's leveraging more money to stay at Michigan.
And he still has that extension sitting in his desk in Michigan. He's down here in Jesuit.
Yeah.
Weight room, squatting.
Yeah.
That just screams Urban Meyer. But then
I
again,
wouldn't say that because that guy was
Harbaugh,
wildly successful in San Francisco.
He's got the best winning percentage.
Yeah, he was really good there. But who ran him out of town? Trent Baalke. Yeah.
So, how does that guy keep getting jobs?
I don't understand. He's obviously he's not well liked. Nobody's taken the Jacksonville job with him there.
Clearly.
So Shad Khan needs to, I don't know where he's at, if he's in England or what. He needs to do something.
That dude is he's got too much money.
Yeah, way too much.
Way too much money.
But no results to show for it.
Like, how does a guy that stupid make that much money?
Yeah.
With a mustache like that. I mean, it's just not a lot good going. I mean, you're a wrestling aficionado, so I guess he knows something about wrestling or producing wrestling.
That's his son. Tony Khan. That's his son.
Tony does the wrestling.
The
AES or whatever the hell it is.
What would the S stand for? Seriously, when you say that.
I don't know. I just like to tweak you with that. How do you Trent Baalke and Urban Meyer? Like, who thought that was ever going to be the winning formula? Man, rich people. All right, back to the Lightning. Big win last night, 3-2 over the Devils after a very, very slow start. It was like shots were 7-2 to start the game. Sergachev takes a high stick penalty. Severson scores, and you're like, man, these guys are sleepwalking. By the end of the first period, the Lightning had outshot the Devils 18-12. Like, where the hell did that come from?
That damn goalie for New Jersey. I've never heard of him until last night.
It's terrible.
And he decides.
He's 1-3 coming into the game.
Yeah, he decides he wants to play Vezina.
Yeah,
for the first period.
He was
like,
crazy good.
That happens. Does it not happen like once, like every couple weeks to the Lightning?
Goalies get hot.
I mean, they just get. Remember, I know they won that game against Calgary a few weeks back, but that Vladar that nobody had heard of,
he was
standing
everywhere
on his head.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing last night.
Yeah, literally.
Although, my God, how many turnovers did we have in the first period? Like every time I looked up, there was somebody throwing the puck in the middle of the ice.
Yes.
Right in front of the goal.
Right there in their own zone.
Right.
In their own zone.
Stop that.
And not even looking behind them.
Yeah, Belmar did. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like setting them up? Like, this is crazy. But anyway, so they go down 1-0 and they come back and who got the first goal? Killer?
Killorn.
I think it was Killer. We get a power play and after going, 0 for 7 against Anaheim a couple like earlier in the week, they finally get the power play to work.
Killorn walks out, sweeps it across, nobody home. Bounces away from Stan, goes back to Hedman, his drive. Puck is loose. They score! In front, tucked in by Killorn, and the Killer ties the game.
It's a great backhand move right
Pretty basic goal again, very similar to New Jersey's. The shot went in all the way from the point for New Jersey, but Victor Hedman has a head up because Alex Killorn is all alone in front. What a beautiful little move to go to his backhand on this rebound. He has room because the two defenders are so worried about Palat and Stamkos that they move up and away from the net. I'm not sure that Gillies knew where the rebound was. He made the save. It was right in front of him, but he didn't make any attempt to poke check Alex Killorn. Killorn very calmly went forehand, backhand, and swept it past him. But the threat of Steven Stamkos on that cross-eyed pass and the one-timer has defensemen moving up away from their net, and that gives Alex Killorn time and room.
A great analysis there from Brian Englom right there, and Dave Randolph on the call, Valley Sports Sun. Yeah, I mean, lots of time in front. I'm like, that could be a film session for those two defensemen. Like, where the hell are you guys? Like, Killorn's like, ooh, let me do a little forehand and backhand, put a little salt on it. It's in the back of the net. So that got him to 1-1, and then they take the lead on a shorthanded goal from Matt. They get a 4-minute high sticking penalty against that they got to kill off. And boy, this is what Matthew Joseph has done so well this year. His penalty killing has been tremendous, along with Belmar, and they turned this entire 4-minute penalty kill into an offensive explosion. They had 3 or 4 good chances, and then this one they pounced on.
Joseph in, shoots, save, rebound, scores! Matthew Joseph, short-handed goal, 2-1 Lightning.
This is all Matthew Joseph. Watch him left side of your screen at the blue line. Reads the play, steals the puck. Bad gamble by Jesper Bratt, and Joseph makes some play. And look at all 3 defenders for New Jersey go to the far side of the net. Then they forget all about Joseph. The goaltender makes the save but loses track of where the puck is. He thinks he has it. You see, Gillies is still looking down. Joseph can't make the play into the middle, but all 3 defenders go to Belmar, and Joseph is able to put in his own rebound. Great work by Joseph all around.
That's just a young team making mistakes here, and Joseph has got the puck shorthanded, and 3 guys go
the other way.
Go the other guy.
Goalie just sits there like he's got it in him.
Yeah, it's like,
and it's looking right in front of him.
Sorry,
Joseph's like, okay.
I'll take that.
But that's a guy, I tell you what, that's a guy that's playing with some confidence.
Yeah,
when you see him knock that puck out of the air there.
Yep.
I mean, that's very hard to do.
Yep.
You don't do that unless you're playing with confidence and
quickly the other way.
Yeah, quickly the other way. And he's starting to put together points in bunches now.
Yeah.
Which is good to see. And real quick note, too, about Alex Killorn, that first goal. I feel like he's just like Palat. We forget about him.
Yeah.
And what he brings to the team. I looked. He's in the top 25 in the NHL this year in points.
Is he really?
Alex Killorn.
That's his 17th?
That was his 14th goal.
Yeah.
But he's got 40 points now in 44 games.
Wow.
Career high in points is 49. He's going to smatter that.
Well, I mean, but there's been a lot of times when Pointer and Kucherov weren't in the lineup, and
he's stepped up big.
He's had to step up and produce. He's getting a lot of power play time right in front of the net. That's certainly helping out, but he's delivering. Yeah, he's having a great season. It really is. And this is what happens when guys go down. Like Kucherov didn't play last night because of COVID. Pretty sure he's not playing tomorrow night against the Knights. So that's this is what's so good about this team. When I think they missed Kucherov early in this game. They were just rusty and weren't really putting things together. But after a while, they got their mojo back. So the Devils come back and tie it 2-2, and then it's Anthony Cirelli again in front of the net. Gives them the go-ahead goal, and away we go. Maybe.
Point walks in and from pucks loose. They score! Anthony Cirelli on the rebound, and the Lightning have the lead back.
All 3 goals scored on juicy rebounds, by the way. Juicy Smollett.
Excellent work on the attack, and where does Cirelli go? But this has been the one flaw in Gilly's game tonight. Yeah. He hasn't been able to control his rebounds. He makes the save here. This one was a little tougher because Cirelli was right there and it went off his shin pad. But then Gilly's lost his balance a little bit. I thought maybe he had lost the rebound control, but yeah, when he's right out of the net, Cirelli's able to shovel that one upstairs. Prior to that, Gillies had been in good position every single shot. He'd had some hot shots, but this one takes himself out of it. Cirelli stands in there, gets the rebound, and puts it upstairs for the lead again.
There you go. Lots of room in front of the net right there. Looks like the Florida State Library on a Monday. There's nobody there. Look, this is a team that doesn't matter who's playing, who's not playing. They munch points, and look, I know it's the Devils. They're in the basement, but they came out a little peckish. They were flying around a little bit. A good young, fast team, but the Lightning clamped it down, and they get a win 3-2. Jon Cooper after the game, as usual, give Smith the business. What is Coop's thing with Joe Smith? Just the Joe Smith from The Athletic. He just likes to mess with him. Poor Joe.
I told you the other night it was like 1:30 in the morning, and Joe kept asking,
after the San Jose game.
He's just asking normal questions, doing his job. And John did one of these and was like, "Joe, what is it, like 1:30 over there? Like, go to bed. What are you still asking questions?"
Oh, poor Joe. He just and he doesn't matter what he asks. He's just gonna give him the red ass. It's like a bad sitcom, and it's just like that's some like ancillary little storyline going on between these two, but it's always funny to listen to.
All 3 of the goals came on second chances. And just how much of a foundational piece is it for this franchise to get those grimy goals, especially when Matthew was just talking about how tonight was kind of a roller coaster of a ride?
Well, like every goal is not going to be pretty backdoor tap in 6 passes. And especially when the way teams defend and how fast the game is, if you're not going to go to those areas to score and compete in those areas, it's going to be tough for you to win. And so, for us, we've grown as a group for years now. But you get into these 1-goal games, you're going to need those, and we just had enough tonight.
Eric Erlandson. Jon, just how much did the game kind of turn on that 4-minute penalty kill that you had? And I guess we'll call it a power kill, the way you kind of approached it, and you end up getting the reward and the goal there.
Yeah, that was a big point for us. Just the way the game had gone, probably that first 10 minutes, and I would say, New Jersey played well, but in our, we were rusty, we were off in our execution. I thought as that first period went on, we were kind of getting our game back. I liked our second, and then we take that penalty, which was unfortunate, but the kill was huge. And then to top it off by getting a shorty, I liked where we were going in the third. I just thought in the third, then our puck management wasn't where it should be. When we're trying to protect the lead there, and but the 2 big lines traded goals, and fortunately that's where it ended. But overall, when you come back from the coast and you have the time off and the time change and all that, especially how well we played against San Jose, it's tough to get back, but I got to give the guys credit for coming back in this one and grinding it out.
Joe Smith.
Obviously, Joseph's got a lot more penalty kill time this year. Where have you seen kind of the comfort level with him show? I mean, I think the goal, he started at the blue line with creating a turnover there. That you stick on there. Where have you seen, maybe Belmar's been an ideal compliment for him, allowing him to be aggressive there?
Well, Belmar's been instrumental for Joe. You'd probably call him a little bit of a mentor to him, especially in that part of the game and the penalty kill. But I think a big thing has been Joe's poise. When he first came into the league, he was just kind of darted all over the ice. But his poise with the puck is getting much better. He's maturing as a player, and I think it's with a little bit of experience, and I think some of it's named Belmar.
That was pretty nice. He was nice.
He was pretty good yesterday.
There's been no salty Cooper. I kind of miss it, actually. Come on, Coop. Joe's like, unscathed today. It's a good day. I won't push my luck. No more questions. So a big win for the Lightning, but now this is going to be an interesting game. So the Knights lost last night, 4-1 to the stinking Panthers. So here comes Las Vegas. I'm trying to remember. We played them December, like the last game before Christmas, December 18th. We won that game? I'm trying to remember. I think we did.
I have to check on that.
But that's going to be a fun game Saturday night after Gasparilla.
Yeah, it's a hot ticket. I tell you that.
Is it a hot ticket?
It is a hot ticket.
Yeah, good luck getting to the arena. After the drunkenness of Gasparilla.
Oh, that's gonna be a nightmare.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy. Yeah. I'm like, you won't even be. I'm thinking about because you won't be able to get Uber.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll Uber over to the game. Usually I'll drive over and park over there on Davis Islands or Harbor Island, and then kind of walk over the arena. That's not gonna be available. And then my third option is scooter. There'll be no scooters available. They'll all have been thrown into the water by then.
I'd kill to see you just on a scooter, just going over that
in
bridge,
my suit,
in your suit and everything, and your little lapel, your hair all nice, because you're a hat guy time.
Yeah.
The only time I think I ever see you without your hat on is at those games.
Yeah, pretty much.
You're just skating through there, and
the
wind
fun.
going and everything,
blowing through my blonde flowing locks 40 years ago.
Blonde.
It used to be. Yeah. No, I love it. I love them scooters. They're fun as shit. Jump on them things. It's the open air. It's gonna be cold. Get a little overcoat on. Bzz, zip right over there.
I would definitely. I'm
shocked.
Get my card. Go myself.
Where are you going to park? Where are you going to? Where you're going to park? In the street, because it's just going to be complete gridlock. You ain't going anywhere. All the streets are blocked off. Where you headed to? I didn't think about that. We got to park the car when you get there. Yeah, you got to. First of all, the roads are closed. You need to park it. So, jump on your scooter and go. What? I mean, what do I care? People are going to go. Oh, whoa, what's that guy doing? He's all dressed up and he's on a scooter. I don't care. I want to get to the freaking game. No. If you're in this business long enough, you don't give a shit about what people say or what. I mean, look at that guy you were going with on Twitter yesterday on my behalf. Thanks a lot, by the way.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
They got that jabroni. Who cares? Whatever. Hey, your podcast sucks. I don't listen to it, but it sucks. Okay, why aren't you talking about the Rays minor league system, man? All you ever do is talk about the stadium. Neil Solondz isn't talking about the stadium anymore. Oh, I wonder why. I love Neil. Neil's great, but no, he's not going to talk about how his stupid ass owner did this thing for 2.5 years that was never going to work. But I think other people might be interested in that. Other people might be interested in where the Rays are actually going to freaking play, besides who's the third string second baseman at freaking Durham. Why don't you get to know the Rays minor league system? Probably don't even know like Neil Solondz does. No, I don't know it like Neil Solondz does. And frankly, I don't want to know it like Neil Solondz does. That guy has too much information in his head.
The PSA to the listeners out. I mean, if you want us to talk about the Rays minor league system or
raise your hand.
Or hypotheticals on who the Rays could sign.
Come up in my
Like we're in a lockout. Don't even know if the season's going to start. If you want us to talk about who the Rays could outsign in March or whatever, if the season ever gets underway, please let us know.
Because guess what? It's ridiculous to talk about it because once they open it back up for signings, the teams that actually spend money are going to go out and take all these guys that you're like, oh, let's talk about this guy or this guy or this guy. They're not even going to be in consideration.
And newsflash, by the way, if I could go back to last year, I think we were pretty spot on with our Rays coverage for the majority of the summer last year. Yeah, we were. When it was just the Rays to talk about.
Right.
I recall somebody, a young, aspiring at the time broadcaster, bringing Drew Rasmussen up to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you found him in Durham. Yeah.
Ended up starting a playoff game for us.
That's right.
So
that's right.
So if you want to question how much this show knows about Durham, we can go all day with that.
Yeah. And we told you right from the very beginning, not re-signing Charlie Morton is going to come back and bite him in the ass. And of course that did too.
Yeah.
And we told you they didn't have enough starting pitching to go far enough and we told you that in August, that was going to be a problem. You did. So is that enough for you? When it comes time to talk about the actual people on the field, we're going to wait till they actually get on the field. How about that?
Yeah. Once the lockout's over and we're going to spring training, I promise you we will shift to the Rays.
All right. Our wonderful program here is brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, our good friend. And he is an expert in representing you if you have some storm damage to your home, you have sinkhole issue, roof damage, defective stucco, construction defects, all those things, which are a big deal right now because these builders, they're short-handed, they're short-staffed, they can't get the right materials. So what do? They got to get the job done, and they might cut some corners. That's not the greatest thing in the world for you. So if you find that's happened to your new house or your new office, call Chris, and he will he'll talk to you. He'll give you a free consultation if you mention this show. So you can call him at 813-221-5636 or go to PalermoPA.com. If you have any issues with your homeowner's insurance, he's the guy to call. Chris, 813-221-5636 or PalermoPA.com, the law offices of Christopher Palermo. All right, we're going to take a break. That was a long first segment, so we might have to double up this break here. Listen to some of our great advertisers. By the way, we're heading to the Super Bowl. We will be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of Super Bowl week. Got a lot of cool stuff in store for you. Big guests coming on. So I think we're the only station going because we're the only ones worthy of it, I guess. Back in a sec. Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity, time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now. So go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black. Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, the JP Peterson Show presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Also, American Mortgage Services, Scott Fitzgerald. He is your mortgage guy or refinance guys. Folks, you've been thinking about refinancing. He told us last week that these rates should actually be in the 5s right now, but they're still mid-3s. So if you've been thinking about refining and think, oh, I did it a couple of years ago, so it's not worth it, it may be worth it. You got to find out what the numbers are because he's going to pay for your appraisal, first of all, if you mentioned this show, which is a $500 to $700 value right there. So let him run the numbers. They'll do all the numbers, give you the options. You just decide whether it's a yay or a nay. You can take a lot of money out of your home right now. It's probably worth 25% more than it was just last year. That's just insane, but it's true. So find out what the numbers are. If you think it's not profitable because you can't refi every other year, you might be wrong. So call him. He'll do all the work. You save all the money. And it could be thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. So just reach him at Scott@amstampa.com. Scott@amstampa.com. If you need a phone number, it's 813-294-7595, 294-7595. All right, let's welcome in our good friend Leo Haggerty from It Sports Magazine, editor-in-chief. What's up, my friend? How are you?
I'm still wearing black from last Sunday, JP. How about you?
No, we were just talking about this on this kind of gloomy Friday, and I just realized since Brady got here, this is the first week that the NFL is playing football and we're not playing. It's the first week since he got here that we're not playing, and four more teams are. And I'm like, that's why I'm so depressed.
Yeah, it's amazing when you look at it that you got a guy who's basically father time back there under center, and he's led your team to a Super Bowl and then another deep playoff run. But JP, I'll tell you what I'm really surprised about, how Raheem Morris isn't getting credit for a genius game plan with what they did with their defensive ends. And to explain this to your readers, when a defensive end lines up on the outside shoulder of a tackle, it's a 9 technique.
Right.
If he moves out a spot, if there was a tight end there, it's called a wide 9.
Right.
Well, they were in ghost 9, which means they were out 2 spots. And what they found from film is that when Brady catches the ball in the shotgun, he takes a couple steps back. Well, what they did is they rushed the edge. That forces the tackle, who can't anchor because they're running the edge, to push them around the outside. Well, they were pushing them right into Brady in the first half. Now, the Bucs adjusted at halftime. Brady caught the ball and stepped up, but by then it was 23-6. Not good.
Yeah, that was an interesting little tweak, and this is where coaching is so incredibly important. And I just thought, there were a lot of instances where the Bucs got outcoached. We've talked about them a lot this week. What were, besides that one, what were some of the other little tweaks and things that the Rams did that you thought were a coaching edge?
Well, I'll tell you what, they forced the Bucs to keep the guard, which was the big thing. I thought they would move Aaron Donald at the end, but again, John Jaworski and I, we talk about this. He said the worst thing you could do to a quarterback is put color in his face. And what they did is they got enough of a push inside, and it had effect on Brady. He had Scotty Miller wide open there on the 4th down, and he felt the rush. It wasn't there, but he felt it and got rid of the ball early. And again, the Rams' defensive scheme, getting away with 2 backup safeties, and the Bucs didn't get a chance to run the ball at that wide 9. And again, if you rush those ends so wide, it creates a natural hole for your running back. Problem was, you got down so much early, you couldn't get in there. And that's what Fournette took advantage of on the touchdown run.
Right.
He knew what was happening, and he just jumped it outside right away. So, you got to give the Rams credit that they outcoached the Bucs a little bit. Absolutely.
No, I think they were really outcoached. You talk specifics about the last call by Bowles, which, Bowles is a great defensive coordinator, but coaches have bad games just like players do. And I thought offensively, we didn't run the no huddle. We didn't run, didn't run the up tempo. And I think we should have run the football more early. Even if you get down, if it's still second quarter, I think you got to stick to your game plan, at least, until maybe late second quarter, early third quarter, especially when they're doing what they were doing. And I also thought from a defensive standpoint, they had no answer for Cooper Kupp. And I don't know if Bowles doesn't respect him, but it just seemed like time and time again, there was not, how do you let him run wide open for a 70-yard catch? How do you let him run wide open? And I know SMB fell down, but, or are you not bracketing him on that last drive? How do you let him run wide open down the field without a middle safety, and he gets put on Antonio Winfield man-to-man in that situation? That, Bowles is a great coach, but those were not great decisions.
JP, I thought the play before the long pass was it was strange why they were playing man under and letting him go to the sideline. Again, they said, well, he fell down. Well, he was still having inside leverage.
Yeah.
Why was he not on the outside shoulder saying, okay, you catch the ball, it's going to be in the middle of the field. You're not getting out of bounds.
Right.
That made no sense. And the last call, again, JP, to go with a cover 0 blitz and have your safety back there 12 yards flat-footed. Cooper saw that, and I'll tell you what, I'll bet he was salivating.
Of course he was.
It may not even have been the call. He just said, hey, I'm going straight up the field. And again, Jerome Vickers, who's our wide receiver guy, he always said, if he's even, he's leaving. And that's what it was. Kupp got even. He just said, hey, I'm going north. And let's see what happens.
Winfield's a safety. He's not a cover corner. And how you do not have a cover corner, even if you're going to 0 blitz, how do you not have a cover corner on Cooper Kupp instead of a safety? That's bananas. And listen, they had him in the slot. And maybe that was McVay's way of dictating that coverage. So again, you're getting out coached. and on crucial plays.
You know what, JP? I think the injuries in the secondary really had an effect on that one, because at the end of the game, why do you got Levante David and Devon White even in the game? They should be playing quarter coverage. There should be 7 DBs. Guess what? They don't have 7 DBs.
Yeah.
So that really hurt, because if you look at 45 and 54, their deficient areas is in coverage.
Right.
And we know both about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they play downhill and they do a great job of it. But when the Bucs look to put in 6 and 7 DBs, they weren't there, and that really had an effect, I thought, on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I agree. Leo Haggerty joining us here. So what do you think moving forward for the Bucs? What's your gut guess on Tom Brady? Is he coming back or is he not? I mean, obviously everything hinges on that.
I think Tom Brady's coming back, because I don't think he wants to go out that way. Again, if he'd have went out and they wouldn't have made the playoffs, I think he may have retired. But now he's going with the what if. And that's where you got the guy coming back. Well, what if we'd have done this? What if we'd done that? We'd have been playing with a home game. And I think he's back for one more. The GP after that, it's anybody's guess what happens.
Yeah, I've said this all week long. My gut feeling, despite a lot of the things and the signals he's sending out right now, is that, to me, Brady is the guy that plans everything out in his life. And he's got a 3-year contract. He's always said he wanted to play till 45. I don't think he does anything by accident or, with a last-minute choice. I think everything is completely thought out. His team thinks it out. I think his businesses are set up for him to be on the stage for one more year. I just, they just launched his clothing line, it just seems to me, and then you put in all the other football stuff as well, that, this team can be really, really good next year. It's not like this is a Roethlisberger situation where you see clear decline. It's not even close to that. So you're playing at an MVP level. It would be more surprising to me if he said, I'm done, than if he said he's coming back. That's kind of my take.
Yeah, that's it too. And JP, you know what we found out Sunday? How important Tristan Wirfs is.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Wow. When you and I were sitting in the press box and it came out, and I think they knew Monday that he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Well,
they had to if he has torn ligaments.
Yeah, and when he became inactive, I said, "Oh boy, look out!" And they talk about next man up, but that next man up ain't an all-pro offensive right tackle.
No.
And that's a big hole to fill.
I thought they should have moved Kappa out there, especially if early in the week, and have 2 healthy guys in Stinney. And Stinney, we didn't miss a beat with Stinney. And I know people say, well, you don't want to change two positions, but Stinney's been playing right guard all the time, and he played great in the postseason last year. So it's not like you're putting in a novice there. And Kappa's played some right tackle. He was healthy. He's a better overall player, especially when you know that Josh Wells was injured as well. I thought that was a mistake. Am I wrong?
Well, yeah. You know what, JP? Here's where I'm kind of tossing it up in the air whether they knew Wirfs was going to be out as of Monday. Because if they knew he was out, they should have moved Cap out right away and said, "Okay, here we go," and get Stinney.
Yeah.
So that's why I think maybe they were holding out that he may be able to play. But again, the biggest problem you have with offensive line is if you move Cap out, now you're trying to replace 2 guys.
But again, Stinney's played like guard. It's not. He played well in the playoffs last year. It's not like he's against some novice. I get that, but he's not. He knows he's a veteran player. He's not a rookie. He's been there and he's done that. And he met the moment last year in the freaking Super Bowl. So I don't buy that part of the argument.
Well, the rule is don't do it, but the postulate is you have a guy who's played there.
Right.
And again, I was surprised that the Bucs didn't even, dabble with it. Just move him out there for a series and see what happens.
Right.
But again, I think for the first time, JP, in 2 years, we saw a panic with that team. And again, the Rams basically put it on a silver platter and said, "Hey, get back in the game."
Yes, they did.
And they couldn't take advantage of it with that last defensive series. But hey, JP, I got to get on my soapbox here real quick.
Go ahead.
The NFL needs to change that overtime rule. To watch Josh Allen sit on the bench and not even touch the ball, that is a travesty. They need to change that.
Agreed. I am totally agreement. My co-host there, Nick Getty, says no. I don't. You know what? I don't know what the NFL's problem is with the college overtime, and everybody calls it gimmicky or what have you. I don't. At least the offense gets to touch the ball. At least both sides of your. If you have a strong offensive team, like if your team is built because you have a great offense, and to some degree that's the Buccaneers and other teams. If you lose toss, I mean, all you got to do is look at the numbers. 10-1, 10-1 are the teams that win the toss in overtime and in the playoffs. I mean, that's ridiculous. And so if you have and plus the rules are set up for the offense to score. And right, it makes it easier for the offense to score. And at the end of the game, the defense is more gassed than the offense because it takes more energy to play defense. So that's why the coin flip basically decides the game, and that's not the way it should be.
Yeah, absolutely, JP. And I wrote an article last night. Give the college game credit. They got the right idea. Here's all the NFL has to do. Start the teams on their own 40-yard line. That way they have to get at least 1 or 2 first downs where the field goal becomes a possibility, and just go back and forth that way. Now it's not, you don't put it at the 25-yard line because then it becomes a field goal fest.
Right.
But if put it on 40, you got to go 60 yards to score, or you got to go 20 to even consider a field goal. Now both teams get the football. Yep. This is not hard. This is not rocket science. Hey, I've preached that for the last 2 years, and I'll tell you what, it's a shame because and JP, real quick, how about the coaching blunders again on the weekend? The Tennessee offensive coordinator screwing up. And why did Buffalo not squib kick and make that clock run down? I mean,
ridiculous, dumb. And then how do you let Travis Kelce go off? You don't have anybody over him. He gets a free release, and you're playing a defense where there's this huge hole in the defense right next to the line. I mean, it was such an easy play. Kelce it was so easy. You were giving him 24 yards. Like, what defense was that? What are these coaches? They overthink stuff like incredibly.
And here's the crazy thing. They were playing outside leverage.
Yes.
Kansas City had 3 touchdowns. The sideline didn't matter. They needed to play cover 2, man under, bump those guys, and make them go up the field. But the fact that Kansas City had 2 plays just to throw the ball unmolested.
Yeah,
I'm going
for 20 yards. Yeah, they were giving them 20 yards on 2 plays with the timeouts. Yep. That's 40 yards. I mean, do the math. You gave up the booty so easy. So somewhere between what Bowles did and what the Bills were doing is kind of where you need to be, right? It's a little crazy.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that play may cost Todd Bowles a head coaching job because it's so fresh in everybody's mind.
You think?
That I tell you, it's scary because everybody's saying, what did you do? And the fact that they didn't communicate it right. You're talking about a veteran defense and all 11 didn't have the call. I mean, that's scary.
Yeah. Well, it might have been better if they didn't get the call. Sorry, Todd. That was a cheap shot. That was a cheap shot. But
that was. Yeah. Hold on. The referee said that was a low blow.
But we asked this question earlier, Leo. Was this season a success for the Bucs?
Oh boy, that's a really tough question.
It is, yeah. That's define success. I mean, you bring back 22 starters at the beginning of the year. You're like, okay, Super Bowl or bust. But only one team wins a Super Bowl. You got to be lucky with injuries. The ball's got to bounce your way. That happened to the Bucs last year. So it's even if you have a great team, it's no you're going to win Super Bowl. But with all the injuries, the AB situation, everything that happened, I kind of feel like, you know what? They got about as much out of this season as they probably believe we're going to get. Would you agree?
Yeah. When the injury, and again, JP, I said this in August, the NFL football god of injury never smiles on you 2 years in a row.
Exactly.
And it just happened. The one thing that was a success is the Bucs made no money as an organization last year because they had all away games. They had 2 home games. That's probably about $130, $140 million windfall for the Glazers. So, yeah, in that way, it was a success.
Oh, from a monetary standpoint, you kidding me? And they sold all those luxury suites with 5-year deals. So if you wanted to get in on the Brady thing this year, you had to sign up for 5 years. So they not only made money this year, they made money for the next 4 years as well. I mean, that's the way you play it in business. That's how it goes. So, and that's another reason I think Brady's coming back because, I mean, even though these folks that bought in, there were no assurances that how many years they would get with Brady. I think they probably, were sold on the idea. At least it was going to be at least 2 seasons. So, and I'm not saying that the Bucs were disingenuous in any way. I'm not saying that at all. But I think if you're buying it, you're thinking going in, we're going to get at least 2 years of Brady, right? But I don't know. They're making money, which is fine. That's fine. You want a Super Bowl, make as much money as you want. I don't care, right? It's not like it's Stu Sternberg.
I think Gronk is determining his status by Brady.
Of course,
so
everybody is.
I mean, and that's a good thing. I just hope that Brady, and I think he will, makes a decision before free agency and the draft.
Of course.
Yeah, just so the franchise knows where they're at.
Yeah, well, he knows if they're going to be good next year, they got to get working right now. And I think it's also incumbent upon the Bucs to put a plan together and say, look, we're bringing back Jensen. We're bringing back Godwin. We're bringing back CD3. This is our plan. We're going to go out and get another receiver for you, experienced guy, Emmanuel Sanders, a Juice Smith-Schuster, somebody like that, and to replace AB, blah, 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 blah. Here's the plan. Let's execute. They got to do that, and I'm sure they are.
Absolutely. And again, JP, I think we have to sit down and look at what was the most significant injury that the Bucs suffered. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
They missed him. All of a sudden, that jet screen vanished because they had nobody to throw to. I mean, Godwin would get 3 or 4 of those a game.
Yep.
And then that all of a sudden changed.
Yeah, so much change. He's such a versatile player. And New Orleans came in here to take out some guys, and that's exactly what they did. And shame on them. All right, my friend, tell everybody how they can get the content for It's Sports Magazine.
Hey, go to itsportsmag.com and check out my article yesterday if you want to know what the NFL should do to get overtime and get it smarter.
Yes, I'll have Nick read that so he's not so silly about his overtime thoughts. Thanks, buddy.
I will see tomorrow lightning.
If you get there through the Gasparilla mess, leave early.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
Take care, brother.
All right, Leo Haggerty right there. All right, we will take a break, come back for our second hour. We're going to dive into these conference championship games. Some interesting goings on at the Australia Open as well. Medvedev completely melted down yesterday. You're going to hear the most bizarre audio. It was weird. And we got a local kid in the Australian Open final, not a young lady. So we'll talk about Danielle Collins as well. Stay with us.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity. Time to tap into the equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company, was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian, graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back. The JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. Our second hour is brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo and his team over there will they'll change the way you look at the medical system, folks. They have a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized preventative medicine, not this come when you get sick, we'll write you, blah, blah, blah. No, they're proactive in looking at your issue before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. So many of us just, there's so much out there to take and supplements to take. What do you take? How much do you take? How much do you exercise? Well, everything's different for everybody. Everybody metabolizes things differently, so they will find out exactly what works best for you, get you on the right regimen, get you on the right active lifestyle. Some people can work out 5 times a week. Some people can only do 2 or 3. So everything is personalized, and that's what's really different about Bay Area Medical Center. So go to BAMMC.com. That's BAMMC.com and get more information. Very interesting website. You'll learn a lot. And Chris Lugo and his team are very, very experienced. And if you're looking for testosterone replacement guys, which I highly recommend, if you're over 40, go find out what your numbers are. They do a great job of that. It's not a frivolous treatment. It takes professional targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, something a lot of doctors don't pay attention to. So Bay Area Modern Medical Center, great folks over there. They do things differently. And so hook them up, BAMMC.com. All right. I'm going to get into a couple of interesting stories, of which this one is fascinating to me. And a great column by John Romano. I don't often say that, but there's a really column he did on Danielle Collins, who is going to play in the Australian women's final. That's probably later on today, or is that early tonight? Probably later on tonight, I would think, right?
3:30 a.m.
3:30 a.m.
Yes.
So the entire Collins family, I think, is over there, though. But unfortunately for her first final, she has to go up against the number 1 seed in Ashleigh Barty, who's from Australia. Australian player hasn't won in 44 years down under. So that's, I think, a definition of a home court advantage.
A little bit.
But also a lot of pressure. She might get tight. And watching Danielle play, I went back and watched a little of her semifinal match. I don't know if I've seen a girl hit out like this girl. She Like, there is no let up in her game. She just crushes the ball on every stroke. She's a big time power player, but it's weird. Like most tennis players, phenoms come up at a teenager level, right? We see them come up. We watch their careers. Well, she was kind of a late bloomer. Grew up in St. Pete, played in the Northeast. Went to Northeast High, and played on the public courts. Her dad, Walter, ran a landscape business. Her mother, Kathy, was a school teacher. She went on to play college tennis at Virginia, two-time NCAA champion. Didn't get on the tour full-time since she was 24 and was ranked like 150. And so in 2019, she got to the semifinals of the Australian Open, but she had this intense pain, her menstrual cycle. Why is it weird for a guy to say menstrual cycle? But whatever. And she had like 2 weeks out of the month, she just had this really, really horrible pain, and was tough to train. It was tough to really play. So she finally got a diagnosis, found a tennis ball sized cyst in her ovaries. Can you imagine that? Having that? So she had endometriosis, which is extremely painful. She had surgery, and now her tennis career is just taken off. And here she is in the finals, her first final. She said, I finally got to the point where I couldn't deal any longer with it physically or mentally. Once I was able to get the proper diagnosis and the surgery, it helped me so much, not just from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint. When you're dealing with that type of physical pain multiple weeks out of the month, you're not putting yourself in position to be able to perform consistently, she said, which is absolutely true. So Iga Swiatek, who she beat in the semifinals, said, I was prepared for her playing an aggressive game, but I think that was the fastest ball I have ever played against in a match. I mean, think about that. So here she is at age 28, and she'll have a chance to win her first Grand Slam title for a girl that grew up on the public courts of St. Petersburg. That's a pretty damn cool story.
That is a damn good
It's a great story.
I was just reading it now as you were talking about it. I mean,
yeah,
that's a feel-good story. You know, if she pulls this off. And I just read here, it's been 44 years since an Australian has won.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about how like Djokovic is, I mean, he's not Australian, bad example. But no,
Pat Cash.
Yeah, there you go.
One of the male players there was another Australian male player that was pretty good. Well, you got to go all the way back to oh gosh, I'm gonna have a brain fart here.
Like me.
Newcomb. John Newcomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably the last one that's won.
Like me thinking that he's Australian.
Who?
Djokovic.
No,
I don't know why that hit my head. He's Serbian.
Well, he's been detained in Australia for quite some time, but
it's all mixing me up. But no, 44 years. So the crowd is going to be super for Ashleigh Barty there.
Yeah.
And she's easily the number one player in the world in women's tennis right now. But we're going to be rooting for her over here, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Plenty of fans over here.
I mean, I'll probably, hopefully I won't be up at 3:30 in the morning tonight. So I'm going to tape the match, though. I would definitely love to. That would be one hell of an upset. And I could see her getting, Ash Barty getting really, because I mean, Danielle's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
She's got nothing
At
to
all.
lose. And just got to trick your mind into thinking all those people are cheering for me. That's how that works.
Yep.
All right. So on the men's side, who's in the final on the men's side? Medvedev lost.
And
he won.
And
That's right.
Rafael Nadal.
And Nadal. That's right. Medvedev and Nadal. Nadal won you were watching the Nadal match?
Yeah. I was staying up to like 1:32 to watch that match. And I don't get to sit down all often and watch tennis because there's so much going on all the time. But when you just sit there and watch it, it just sucks you in. I couldn't turn it off.
When you hit a match like that, that went 5 sets, right?
It did go 5 sets.
And I've watched Rafa and Federer play some unbelievable matches, and Djokovic and these 5-setters. I go all the way back to Borg McEnroe. Some of those just classic matches. When you got two players playing at the absolute peak of their game, and every shot is, just the best winner you've ever seen, and it keeps coming back. And you're looking at these rallies for 20, 25 shot rallies where every one of them, they're just hitting it as hard as they can, painting lines, and guys are running it, guys or girls are running it down. It's really in sports lexicon. I mean, it's incredible to watch. I mean, to me, it's one of the most compelling things in sports. It's unbelievable when they're playing at this high level.
Yeah, I remember last year during the summer, Wimbledon, if it was the U.S. Open or whatever, and it was Nadal versus Djokovic in the semis, I believe.
Yeah.
And we were doing a show during it, and I was just glued to my laptop. I remember that.
The Federer Nadal matchups, legendary, and just they're among my best memories of sports.
Yeah.
I mean, you think tennis is kind of a fringe sport. I get it. We're growing up in South Florida, Chrissy Everett, and just tennis was a big part of the lifestyle back then. And Jimmy Collins lived down there. It was kind of tennis was a big deal. And we watched tennis. We watched Wimbledon all the time. We watched the U.S. We watched all the majors. And those are some of my best memories of sports, watching some of those incredible matches.
And I don't know why, but I have those same memories when I was a kid, like 10, 11, 12 years old, because that was the height. I grew up in the height of Federer, Djokovic, Nadal. That was the big three.
Tennis in the world.
For whatever reason, I don't know if this sounds outlandish or not, but similar to the way I'm glued to my television set when Tiger Woods is playing golf. I was always glued when I had one of those or two of those guys playing each other in like a final in Wimbledon or something. How could you not watch?
Yeah. It's compelling stuff. And I hope Danielle gives her a match. I really do. I think I think she could. With her style, it's a good matchup against Barty. But the crowd is just going to be so against her. If she can harness that in some way. But, I think her journey to this point helps her. It's like, she got nothing to lose.
Nothing.
I mean, she's playing with complete house money. And if she's on her game and she's playing that aggressive style and she's just hitting winners after winners, then, the crowd is like, oh, and they want her. And then that's going to really weigh on Barty. It's going to flip. And, when she if Danielle comes out hot and just starts, gets an early break and goes up, 3-0 or something, and she starts feeling the pressure and this girl's just hitting out and just crushing the ball at you, you get demoralized. You can get demoralized because somebody has that much power over you when they're powering you out of the game. That's what you've seen Serena do that to so many people. You just get, you just like, I can't, it's too much. I got no shot here. So it'll be interesting.
Regardless of what happens, I think it's pretty cool. I don't know how many players there are on the tour, but what is it, like 150, 200 maybe?
Yeah.
And it's from the entire world.
Yeah.
And to know that there's one that's in a major final from little St. Pete, Florida.
Grew up on the hard courts of St. Pete.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that.
That is an outstanding story.
It's a crazy story. It's unbelievable. It's like 30. Well, she was 27th coming into this. I mean, even that is just an amazing accomplishment.
I think I read top-ranked American.
Yeah, she's the top-ranked female American. Yeah, because Serena doesn't play much anymore, and the other girls have just kind of gone by the wayside. But I mean, it's not to discredit her at all.
No,
she's she's in the freaking final of a Grand Slam, for God's sakes. We just talked women's tennis for 20 minutes on the show. Good for us, and I think it was somewhat compelling. All right, let's play this audio. So Medvedev. I don't know. What was the deal? It was something with his opponent's father was doing something in the box.
He's being coached.
He thinks his father was coaching.
And if I'm correct, wasn't this the same thing that they were trying to allege Serena?
Yeah.
When she blew up on the ref?
Yeah.
So clearly they take this super serious.
Yeah. I never understood the whole no coaching thing.
Me neither.
It just seems like a kind of a bizarre thing that, I mean, if your friends and your coaches are going to in the arena, what are they supposed to just not say a word, not do anything, not say, hey, keep your head down? I mean, I don't know. Well, anyway, so Medvedev didn't like it. And listen to this exchange with the referee.
Bro, are you mad? For what? And his father can talk every point. Bro, are you stupid? His father can talk every point. His father can talk every point. His father can talk every point. Repeat answer my question. Will you answer my question? Can you answer my question, please? Can his father talk every point? Oh my God, you are so bad, man. Oh my God, how can you be so bad in semifinal of your answer? Look at me, I'm talking to you. To give him coaching because his father is talking every point.
Answer my question. Answer my question. How could you be so bad?
Look at me.
Look
I
at
am
me.
talking to you.
Look at me. That was just bizarre. This is what the vaccine makes you do, man. Crazy people out there. That was just completely bizarre. But he came back and won the match. So
I think he called him he's like, you cat, you stupid cat. He called him a stupid cat.
Look at me when I talk to you. You're like, you're a crazy man. Shut up. That was we haven't had a really good tennis meltdown in a while.
I know.
That was good.
I know. Is that like McEnroe on like a daily back in the day? Or what?
Yeah. He was the worst or the best, depending on what. I mean, he would just go off and now he's just such a cool guy. You know, he's such a guy.
Yeah,
love
he's so
listening.
calm now.
I love listening to him talk tennis. Really, really, really good stuff. So there's your Australian Open update in case you needed it. But I think it's pretty freaking cool. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's come back and we're going to look into the Final Four this weekend. Who you got? I'd see a lot of people picking the Niners this week. I see a lot of people picking the Bengals this week, the underdogs. So we'll jump into it here in just a second. Stay with us. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Wow, the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-964-0400. That's 941-964-0400.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, also by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a different type of primary care treatment. Go to BAMMC.com. If you're doing testosterone replacement at another place, check out BAMMC.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Christopher Lugo and his team will take care of you. It's a very different approach. Find out more at BAMMC.com. All right, let's jump into the Final Four here, my friend. And not a whole lot of news to report on these. I mean, I think the 49ers will the key injury for them is Trent Williams, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
big time.
This is they're huge. It's so interesting when you look back at the Super Bowl. Obviously, Kansas City losing their two tackles. You look at the Bucs losing Tristan Wirfs. Anytime you take a hit on the offensive line at this point of the season, especially a key player like him, the 49ers are based on a physical run attack and defense.
Yeah.
And he is a big part of imposing that on the other defense. And if he doesn't play, 49ers got no shot.
They have no shot, especially on the left tackle. I mean, that guy, I don't think people can maybe comprehend that. I don't know if it's hyperbole to say this. I think he's the greatest left tackle I've ever seen. Like, I'm not even joking. I'm really. Like, I've never seen a more impactful left tackle play football. And again, I use Pro Football Focus for a lot when I have to rely on that a lot for tackle play, guard play, all that kind of stuff. His PFF grade this year was 98. 98.
That's good.
The next, I don't think anybody else
that's pretty good.
I don't think any other tackle touched 90.
Yeah.
Like, that's the greatest, I think, grade they've ever given out to any player. Oh,
it's not just the grade. It's like the grading.
Yeah.
Like grader. He's a road grader.
Yeah.
He just, in the run game, they were pulling him from the left side, running it like the power sweep and then giving the ball to Deebo Samuel. Like, and he's just coming through, just wrecking people. Yeah. Like 2 and 3 people are just being knocked down, and Deebo just gets in right behind him, and then whoop, he's gone.
Yeah.
He gone. If he doesn't play, that's a huge part of what they do.
Yeah.
So you talk about coaching in this league, and obviously good coaches are going to use players like that and their unique abilities to the best of their ability, and you become dependent on them when they're that good. And when if they suddenly cannot play, you got to make huge adjustments. You saw that with the Bucs, and they didn't do it.
I think Leo hit the nail on the head earlier when he's like, everybody says next man up. The next man up is not first team All-Pro.
No, he's not.
Nowhere close.
He's not.
I mean, you could say next man up at certain positions. Don't get me wrong. When you start messing with the O-line there, left tackle for a quarterback who doesn't particularly move well out of the pocket, I don't know about that one.
No,
I don't know about that. And against that front, it'll be the same thing that happened last week with the Bucs.
Yeah, not good. Not good. And so I would like to pick the 49ers, but because of that, if he doesn't play, I think they have a shot to win. I don't think they have a shot to win. Jimmy Garoppolo is getting healthier. He's been dealing with shoulder and thumb injuries, but he practiced yesterday per Ian Rappaport, so it looks like he's going to be good to go.
Our boy Jimmy G.
Super Jimmy G there. T. Higgins has a thumb injury, but both were he and Burrow has a knee, both full participants. For the Chiefs, Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, did not practice on Wednesday. He remains in concussion protocol. Kansas City, other notable names listed on the injury report, such as Clyde Edwards-Helaire, shoulder. Wide receiver Ty Hill got a heel. And defensive tackle Chris Jones got a groin.
Every big player they got.
But they were all listed as full participants.
They're all.
But here's the other thing. You can't believe a damn word anybody's saying about injuries right now.
No.
Because look at Wirfs. They took him up to like game time. They knew damn well he wasn't playing. No, you got torn ligaments in your ankle. There's no way you can play.
That was clearly like a mirage or something.
That
for the
was
Rams.
that was subterfuge. Had him walk out on the field, this helmet and all that.
Didn't work.
Subterfuge. yeah. But maybe it worked a little bit, but no, I guess it didn't work at all.
What word you just used?
Subterfuge.
Can I get a definition there?
Secrecy. Like it's a behind the scenes plot. You're trying to fool people. Subterfuge.
Don't ask me to spell it now.
Don't ask me to spell it.
I know.
Spell check.
I like that word though.
It is a good one. That's one of the. What is in? Now I got to look up this word. There's a word, onomatopoeia, I think it is. Onomatopoeia is a word that sounds like what it is. Subterfuge. It sounds like
my brain. I can't. That definition. I can't work with it. Right now.
It's what are some of the? I'm going to look that up now. Yeah. Boom's one. That's a word that sounds like what it is.
Yeah.
Because I guess because you're describing a sound, but kind of definition of it. But yeah, subterfuge. It's always good. But there's a lot of subterfuge going on right now as far as injury goes. So you just don't know. That's why you just kind of look up when watch guys, like if they, you watch Trent Williams, you watched Tristan Wirfs come back in the game, and you could say like, we knew right then he wasn't coming back the next week.
No.
And then, but you watch Ryan Jensen go in and he finished the game. So I'm like, okay, then that's an ankle sprain. The other one, no, not so much. Andrew Whitworth, who had a knee and sat out last week, is ready to go this week. So,
great.
By the way, how come they had no issues with Joe Noteboom stepping in there? We did not attack that backup left tackle at all.
Well, you want to know why?
Yeah.
It's because for whatever reason, this coaching staff thinks that Jason Pierre-Paul can play 70% of snaps, 80% of snaps.
Not very effective.
He just can't. He just can't. And I'm just being honest with everybody. He looks like a guy that's ready to hang him up.
I mean, he's got a torn rotator cuff. He even said it after the season. It's like that's his push. You got to push off. You can't. I mean, if you don't have your arms playing defensive end or any freaking position in football, if you can't get leverage with your arms, you're done.
I mean,
especially as a pass rusher.
And I think if you added up the amount of sacks that Anthony Nelson and Joe Tryon and Cam Gill got together, I think it's close to like 9 or 10. I mean, you take that. You got to rotate those guys in.
And that's part of coaching too, obviously, is knowing when to play players and who to play in what spot. Like I think that Kappa, I'll rather have a guy that's healthy, and going up against an Aaron Donald or one of these other just, Leonard Floyd or these massive pass rushers that the Rams have. I'd rather have a guy that's healthy that maybe hasn't played the position as opposed to with Josh Wells, who was battling a tough injury and clearly was not at his best. And the same with JPP, even though you love his fight and you love his leadership and you love all that stuff, he's got a torn rotator cuff. He can't play. He can't play. And you got to sit him down. And you got to let these other younger guys get in there and do what they do. If they make mistakes, so be it. At least they're going to be healthy enough to get after it.
No, he unfortunately he gave you nothing this year for the most part. He gave you absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And I can't let Shaq Barrett off the hook either in that game because he didn't give you much either.
Yeah. And how much was he hurting?
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. They just were ineffective when they when they're healthy, they're very effective, and they were not so much.
But maybe it'll be different. They're going to get the full healthy Nick Bosa and Eric Armstead and all the guys from San Francisco. So it might be a different story there. It might.
At this point, it's hard to pick against Kansas City as good as they've been. But there's just something about Joe Burrow. There's something about this Bengals team. Their offensive line is just so bad though. And the Chiefs, I think Chris Jones, if he's healthy, if their defense is healthy, I just don't see, even though Burrow was sacked 9 times last week, they still only scored 19 points.
Yeah, it's just not sustainable.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You're not going to win. You're not going to beat the Chiefs scoring 19 points. There's not.
And going into Arrowhead like that,
no.
I mean, Tom Brady can go into Arrowhead and win, but
it could be a blowout.
I mean, Joe Burrow can say all he wants about, the SEC was way louder than all these stadiums. It doesn't bother me. I don't know about that. I don't know about that this weekend.
Yeah. I can't. I love you, Joe, and I think the Bengals they're gonna win a Super Bowl with Joe and that clue. I really do. I think they're gonna make deep runs in the playoffs, but this is not their year. You got to get there and lose.
They just feel like they're a cycle away, a free agency cycle away, a draft cycle away. But hell, though, to go from first overall pick to conference championship game in like 18 months?
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
You can't beat that.
They're pretty damn good. All right, and the Niners and the Rams. Maybe it's just recency bias and watching how well the Rams played last week. But I've seen them put up some stinkers too, man. I've seen them put up some stinkers this year. And matchup wise, just like we don't match up well with the Rams, they don't match up well with the 49ers. They've lost 6 straight to Kyle Shanahan. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. And if Trent Williams can play.
If he plays, I'm not betting against Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay. All right.
Second highest winning percentage since he entered the league behind Tom Brady.
Yeah. And let's see.
Matters.
Let's see what they have for Cooper Kupp that we didn't have.
They got something.
I think he just caught another ball, by the way. Another 70-yard bomb. He was running wide open at the Publix, I think I saw yesterday. He's running down the aisle, Cooper Kupp. He's just everywhere he goes in Tampa, he's wide open. So I think it'll be I think we might get a one good game out of this. I think I have a sneaky suspicion the Chiefs are going to blow out the Bengals.
I think so too. I think this is, if you're going to get the best game, it's going to be San Fran and Los Angeles here. And if Sean McVay, I mean, I know he is what he's hyped up to be. I get that, but you got to overcome this team. You have to do it.
Figure it out. A last little thing on we talked about Brady's future. Nothing really new on that today. Aaron Rodgers. What's your gut telling you? You think he's going Broncos? I have a feeling he's going to end up in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh to me would make the most sense if he went somewhere else.
Yeah. But the whole Jeopardy thing, the West Coast thing.
Yeah. For me though,
it almost seems like a year in the making. You know, the Broncos didn't trade for him, you know, when we thought they were going to trade for him.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it just seemed like that they didn't pull the trigger because they knew like maybe there was a wink, wink, nod, nod. Hey, next year, we're not going to spend the draft capital to come get you, because if we do that, then you're kind of, you know, then we can't build around you. You know, we can't bring in. So you don't want to weaken our hand. So set your contract up so you can get out free. So it doesn't cost like Brady, because that was a big deal. If the Bucs had to go trade for Brady and give away draft capital, they wouldn't have been as good, you know, just frankly speaking. So, and I think if it wasn't a year in the making for the Broncos, then they would say, all right, we're not going to spend the draft capital to come get you. We'll just get your contract situation. We'll hire your buddy, Nathaniel Hackett, come here. We'll kick ass. That seems like a pretty prudent deal.
Yeah. That is true. Do you think Green Bay's still in play? Do you think Green Bay's still in play at all for Aaron Rodgers still?
No.
You don't?
No. I even though that he's repaired his relationship with Brian Gutekunst, or Brian, as he now calls him, and he's repaired, I think, a lot of those relationships. It just seems to me like Green Bay it's run its course. And I think when you look at the Stafford situation, and it's a very good chance, there's still a very good chance that the Rams win the Super Bowl. You're going to have 2 years of a guy basically, you know, going to another team that's ready to win, an established quarterback, winning a Super Bowl with great talent around him. And it just seems like that's the template that the Rams use. They use the Brady template. Now I think the Broncos are kind of doing the same thing, and will add players as he goes there. So I think that's the hot template right now. It's a copycat league, right? So they've kind of worked this thing out. If it is indeed a kind of a year in the making, you know, and if the whole Jeopardy thing is part of it, so be it. So it seems like that's a really good plan for him.
Yeah, I think Green Bay, it's so crazy to think of a quarterback like him leaving a place like Green Bay given the season they just had. But the ending is what matters there.
Right.
And you didn't win a playoff game.
There's been a lot of that.
And there's been a lot of that over the last decade. And I've defended Aaron Rodgers. I've told you before on this show that I think he's the best, just pure thrower of the football I've ever seen.
Hard argue.
I still believe that. I still
you didn't
believe
see
that.
Moreno in his prime, but that's okay.
It's a different game. It was a different game then.
Yeah, it was a lot harder back then. It was.
All right.
It was.
But no. So Green Bay, though, I mean, this year it felt like everything was together. They had their little last dance going on. I mean, this is the best roster they had. They had a great defense finally.
Yeah.
They didn't have to put as much on his shoulders anymore because of a running game that they found.
But he didn't make the plays in the second half.
But he didn't make the plays. And I think that's a constant criticism of Aaron Rodgers is in those big moments. They've been ahead in games. They look like it. He stops getting aggressive.
Right.
He stops making those crazy Aaron Rodgers throws.
Right.
It was shocking what happened last week or the week before against San Francisco. It was shocking the way that he kind of folded. I thought we were past that, frankly, with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, you know, he takes great pride in not making mistakes and throwing interceptions. Sometimes you got to take those chances.
And that's the thing I say too. People want to point at his unbelievable touchdown interception ratio. And it's crazy. He's going to have 500 touchdowns for 100 interceptions. I get that. But there's something to that that's deeper.
Exactly. To win games, to win big games like that in those situations, you got to make throws that you're going to put the ball in danger.
Yeah.
You know, and he's made throws like that, the one to Cook on the sideline, but and he's made big throws like that, but you've got to take those chances. For every sack that you take in those situations when you're not putting up points, you could have forced the ball downfield and maybe made an unbelievable throw. I mean, Brady will tell you there's just certain throws that you make in a situation, but it's a risk reward thing. You got to make that throw if you're going to win this game. I'm trying to think of, there was a great quote from a quarterback is basically saying, you've got to be judicious, obviously, with the football, but you also have to know when to take chances. Like you either need to take this chance or you're not going to win the game. And you won't get an interception, but you're not going to win the game. You have to be confident enough to make a throw that's going to lose you the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I don't think he was confident either in his guys. I mean, he wasn't confident anybody else but Devontae Adams.
Exactly.
That play, I think
MVS didn't play.
Yeah, that
right?
last drive there, I think summed it all up where they needed, it was like 3rd and 10 or something. And if you don't do this, you're giving the ball right back to San Francisco.
Right.
And what was the play? Let me throw it 50 yards down the field with double coverage.
Awful.
It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. And that showed you there's a lack of trust there when he doesn't have quote unquote his guys.
Yeah.
And I understand Tom Brady loves his guys too, but Tom makes everybody around him better. He's always been able to do that. And Aaron Rodgers, for whatever reason, just won't allow himself to make everybody else better.
And of course, if Devontae Adams doesn't come back, then there's no way Rodgers is coming back. So I those two have to be in lockstep.
And he said it after the game too, and he was very blunt. He said, like, you know, the other thing in this is I don't want to be around for a rebuild, and we're going to be over the cap, and there's a lot of guys we can't bring back, and I'm not being a part of a rebuild. So, but the thing is, everybody's saying, okay, it's going to be Denver, right? Everybody's saying Denver or some of these other places. I think we have to actually like look at it. I mean, New Orleans is going to be, I mean, who knows what the cap's going to look like, but if they have a chance to go get him, you think they wouldn't?
I don't think they can afford his $40 million salary. See, that's the other thing. If Rodgers wants to do a Brady and take 25 with incentives, that's a big difference.
Yeah,
it's a huge difference.
I mean, we got to see what happens with Russell Wilson.
Right.
What kind of quarterback offseason is this? That Russell Wilson, we're not even talking about his future.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Rodgers is going to Seattle. I don't think he'd subject himself to that defense.
That seems like it's in a rebuild. That offensive line is garbage.
That's one that needs to be torn down and just start over.
Yeah.
But I think there's other places, though, that Rodgers might look outside of Denver. I do, because there's going to be so many moving parts with quarterbacks.
Yeah. It's going to be a very, very interesting offseason. I think Brady is going to make his decision probably within, I would say, 2 to 3 weeks, because I think he knows that the Bucs got to get going to re-sign Jensen, get all their guys back before free agency starts. And that's going to be a tough. I won't say it's tough, because I think everybody wants to come back, especially for one more year. But Jensen isn't signing a 1-year deal. You know, he's in line to make a very good paycheck.
I mean, they made him the highest paid center in football 4 years ago.
Right. He's made his money.
Yeah.
But he's not, he ain't giving a hometown discount.
No, he's got
I would think he will give somewhat of a hometown. Like if they're, if he's got 2 offers and one's, the Bucs are $5 million over 3 years less than somebody else, he'll stay here. I mean, I don't think there's a question about that. But he wants to play here. He wants to play with Tom Brady. He loves his teammates. He loves his line. That's all big. But, he's not going to forego, $15, $20, $30 million. No, that's not happening, nor should it. Hey, I want to remind you, the Golden Diamond Source is, let's pick our Golden Player of the Week, shall we? Really, I think we could probably, for one last time, go back to a Buccaneer. Is there any Buccaneer worthy of the Golden Player of the Week here for the Golden Diamond Source in that game?
I
might not even think there is. Leonard Fournette, maybe.
You know what? I'm going to give it to Mike Evans.
Yeah,
because Mike Evans played outstanding in that game.
I agree.
He dunked all over Jalen Ramsey, won that matchup easily.
Yeah.
And just for being, to me, in the Mount Rushmore Bucks.
Yeah, it maybe just for a whole season award too.
Season award.
Yeah.
Everything he fought through and the way he ended the season on that run.
Yeah.
He's still number 1 wide receiver, in case you forgot. I think he's a Golden Player.
Also he's also a great representative of the team and the Golden Diamond Source, because he's such a great philanthropist, as are Steve and Julie Weintraub. See what I did there? Two great philanthropists right there. 3 great philanthropists right there with Mike Evans, our Golden Player of the Week. And don't forget, right now, layaway is available, 0% financing up to 5 years. So if you want to get that diamond ring, you don't have a big stash of cash right now, you can get it at $40, $50, $60 a week or a month. You should be surprised how big a diamond you can get for that kind of money. Just go down there and find out. 10, 15 minutes from South Tampa. Just hop over on the Howard Franklin. It'll be right there on your left, 3800 Olmerton Road. They've got all the selection that you'll ever want. And if you guys, you've been looking for one of those great watches, those baller watches, you're ready to buy one of those, which you can buy monthly as well, interest-free, 5 years. They've got the gently used ones and the brand new ones as well. Really, really cool stuff. The Emily collection, the Jaleeve collection, all kinds of cool stuff at Gold and Diamond Store. So look them up, 3800 Olmerton Road. Head on over, tell them JP sent you, or shop online anytime at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, quick break. We'll come back with some funky stories of the day. The ironic story of the day that happened in Pittsburgh. Interesting. So we'll hit you with that. And Mina Kimes under fire. Is this Nick Geddes sticking up for Mina Kimes yesterday. Chivalry is not dead. Stay with us.
Attention home buyers or refinance candidates. It is a great time to purchase or refinance. Home values are going through the roof right now. You've got so much equity. Time to tap into that equity, get the cash, and make sure you're making the right financial decisions in your life. Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services in Tampa can help you out on all those fronts. I've known Fitz for over 30 years. He's done 3 of my mortgages. In fact, Scott has done over 3,000 loans in the Tampa Bay area for many of our coaches, athletes, from Bucks to Bulls. And he can save you big money. AMS is a wholesale broker. They will shop your loan to dozens of banks and let them compete for your business. Quick story, one listener had a done deal with a big national mortgage company who was promising a 2.75 interest rate. Well, when it came time to lock in, it was 3.25. Emailed Scott, got him the actual 2.75, saved him over $3,000 in first-year payments and $2,200 in lender's fees. Email him, Scott at amstampa.com, Scott at amstampa.com.
Who wants free mobile service? I do, and you can get 30 gigs a month from companies like AT&T Service, T-Mobile. Great service. Keep your number and get free mobile service. It's part of the emergency broadband benefit from the stimulus bill. 87% of America qualifies. So if you think you make too much money or whatever, just go to jpcares.info and find out. It'll take you a few minutes. jpcares.info to find out if you qualify for free cell service. Get it now before it's all used up.
The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course at Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
Mainstream sports.
All right, welcome back. Our second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Check them out. Nick Saban in the house, huh? We had video of the helicopter landing in Wiregrass Ranch High School.
Right.
Recruiting.
Right on the 50.
Wow.
Right on the 50.
Signing day, right?
Signing day next week. We're almost there.
So the second signing day. It's like between the portal, the transfers, the first signing day.
Anybody even else to sign?
It's like, no, there's a lot of good players still out there, by the way. Really, really good ones.
Side note, you think it's hilarious that we're like a week away from signing day and Miami is losing assistants, not adding any?
Are they really?
They don't even have an OC yet or a DC.
What are they doing down there? They brought in a great AD and Radakovich and a great, I think, a really good coach in Cristobal.
They were saying how now they were going to run this state. I don't really see much changing.
Well, in assistant coaches, a lot of that's about money. Yeah. And that's always been a problem for Miami. And it's like a lot of these places. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens. Because in recruiting, they've gotten a couple big dogs, but their overall class is very low ranked, I think.
Yes.
We'll get into that a little bit more next week.
Go Knights, charge on.
Yeah. Well, you know who's having probably the best year of anybody is FSU in the state. They're crushing it in the transfer portal and their high school recruiting. Pretty damn good. So Saban's in town, lands the helicopter over there at Wiregrass Ranch. Not sure who he's recruiting over there though. Anthony Beck's kid's already committed to.
He's already tied up. Yeah.
Yeah. To Iowa State. He's coming in there to pilfer Rocco, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. He's signed, sealed, and delivered. Some other stories that we wanted to get to. So what is this? Mina Kimes has been taking a lot of crap from Jeff Garcia. Jeff Garcia came out and said, basically, shut up. You've never thrown a pass
You don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah.
Well, it started last week with Jason Brown, who, if you're not familiar, he was the one from Last Chance U.
Right.
And will tell it like it is. Sometimes I agree with him, but he posted a video of Mina Kimes talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, and she said that Jimmy Garoppolo is like the kid who is in a group project, doesn't do anything, and gets all the credit. That's what she likened him to.
Right.
And Jason Brown said, "This broad," is what he said in the video.
Come on, man.
Which, yeah, you took it too far. He was suspended on Twitter for I think a day or two. And then he posted an apology video and tried to say, I call everybody, broad or whatever. But I don't get it. But anyway, Jeff Garcia.
So stop.
Yeah. Jeff Garcia posted that thing yesterday. And everybody's just, taking that opportunity to slam her. And look, keep it real here. It's because I do think it is because she's a woman. And I understand it's probably very hard to be a woman in that industry and have an opinion on something. And that's what it is. It's an opinion.
Right.
And guess what? It's a very popular opinion.
It is.
She's
not the only one that has it, by the way.
Agree with it.
Yeah.
But you know what I can respect about Mina Kimes? And this is why I defended her. Regardless of what she says on there, the one thing I can respect is she comes with very
Facts.
prepared.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some facts. Does a lot of research.
I don't have to like your opinion, but if you present it with facts,
she brings a lot more facts to the table than Keyshawn ever does.
Exactly. And
Keyshawn is just runs his mouth. He never brings up any facts. He never has any sources. He never there's a lot of guys that have played the game that don't do their homework.
Exactly. And when you make that comment, well, you didn't play, so you can't say anything.
Oh, tell that to Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
Tell that to Al Michaels.
Yeah. Tell it to everybody that's doing sports media
Yeah.
that you can't talk
Joe
about the
Buck.
game.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes these guys look, obviously players have a different perspective and a more accurate perspective because they played the game 100%. And I've learned everything I know about football from guys like that. But you just be informed and do research. There's a lot of guys that play the game that I see on TV. I have no clue what they're talking about. And I hear other football players say that about them as well. So just because you play the game doesn't mean your opinion counts more if you're not doing the studying. If you're not looking at, she does a lot of analytic studies, and I find it. Now, I will say this: I think there are certain places where you can use people like that and get their opinions on things, and then I think there's other places where you should use former players, like they do Kimes dimes.
Yeah,
it used to be Trent Dilfer's.
Yes.
Deal, right? Dilfer's dimes.
Yes, and
I would, quarterbacks know what a dime is more than someone who's never played the game, because you just have a better understanding of the, throwing a big word out, the kinesiology of it, about how hard it is to do it, how your body works together to make a throw and throwing off the platform, and how hard it is to throw. Like Jeff Garcia can see a throw and go, man, that is a dime. To be rolling out to your right, have to stop, pull up, spin, and then set your feet and throw it, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's a good use of her abilities for her to be calling, that was a dime, because I don't think she can give you the insight into how hard it was to make that throw, because she's not done it. Is that fair criticism?
Yeah, I get the point.
Yeah.
I just feel like she's on there to be an analyst.
Right.
So
don't give her that franchise. That's a producer's fault. That's not her fault.
Yeah, but I just think, though, if she's in that position, there's other people on there that you could say the same thing about. I mean, for goodness sake, let's be honest. Stephen A. runs his mouth about everything all the time. Do I think he's very informed on some of the things he says?
No.
Hell no.
No.
And guess what? JJ Redick called him out and said, I
Good for
played
him.
the game. You don't know what you're talking about. In that instance, I understand, because Stephen A. is not always going to bring facts like that.
Yeah.
Mina Kimes at least has facts, and I can respect that.
100%. I'm going to sneak this story in. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar called John Stockton a dumb jock because he wouldn't wear a mask at the Gonzaga games. Which, by the way, folks, masks, even the CDC says now that these cloth masks don't work. We've known this for a long, long time, but now even the CDC says this. All this mask stuff is just mask theater, folks. They don't work. All the studies show that unless you're wearing an N95 that's strictly for your face like they do in surgery, then it's not working. So Jabbar comes on and calls John Stockton a dumb jock. And asserts that the vaccines are completely safe and effective. That's an old, tired narrative, like so many of these COVID things. And just a quick story that came out the other day. These are DOD numbers, Department of Defense numbers from 2020 to 2021. The difference being the military almost 100% vaccinated.
All these are codes from the actual billing record. So we know that this is what people are suffering through. 300% increase year to year. These are 5-year averages, by the way. So the 5-year average of people getting cancer in the military was 38,700. In 2021, it was 114,000. 300% increase. Myocarditis, a 269% increase. Diagnosis for neurological issues went from a baseline of 82,000 for a 5-year average to 863,000 post-vaccine. Bell's palsy, 291% increase. Female infertility, 471% increase. So there's some data from the Department of Defense. Make your own conclusions from that. All right. Our thanks to Leo Haggerty, who joined us. Thanks to all of our listeners. Our numbers are blowing up. We thank you so much for spreading the word on this show. Try to be an independent voice of the fan and give you the facts and try to just bring it to you unfiltered, folks. So that's what we're doing each and every week. We appreciate your support. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your Gasparilla. Be safe. Go Bolts. We'll talk to you on Monday.